It's Cartoons versus Cancer with Walt Disney today. So, hey Walt, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, Grumpetier?
It's going great. Things are going great. How are you? How are you doing, Walt Disney?
Recently, I'm doing pretty well. Pretty cold where I am right now.
Are you in New
But
Hampshire?
other than that, no real complaints.
Are you also in New Hampshire?
No, still cold where I am though.
All right, Milwaukee. Cartoons versus Cancer. It's a show. I run it. We interview cartoon creators. Whatever. We raise money for my friend Madeline Carlson's post-cancer treatment, as well as children at the Dana-Farber Institution in Boston. It's pretty neat. We're going to do an episode today with Walt Disney, and going to talk to Walt Disney. You might know Walt Disney for his work with the Walt Disney Company. You might also know him as the owner of the Disney parks. You might know him for having a hand in creating such memorable characters as the Mickey Mouse and Shrek. Was it?
No. The Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs guy. That was me.
Oh, you were Flint Lockwood. You made Flint Lockwood.
Yes.
In the movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of Flynn Rider.
Are you thinking of Fred Flintstone from the Flintstones?
Okay, Grumpetier, I am Walter Elias Disney. Born December 5th, 1901, at 1249 Tripp Avenue in Chicago's Hermosa neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've done that research on myself just because I live it. I think that you should know that you should do this research, and you would know that the Flintstones are a Hanna-Barbera creation. I'm a little disappointed by your lack of professionalism.
Didn't Hanna-Barbera do Akira?
No. You're thinking of Goober and the Ghost Chasers.
Oh, Goober and the Ghost Chasers! Goober and the Ghost Chasers! Goober and the Ghost Chasers!
That was a little loud. Would have appreciated. Sound travels faster in colder environments.
Yeah, why are you in what's
in.
up with the colder environment thing?
I'm sorry?
What's up with the colder environment thing? Are you like on a vacation or something?
Yeah, it's like a permanent residence kind of thing.
Milwaukee. So we love having guests come in the studio. We love having them talk and stuff. So you did the Mickey Mouse, right? Because you said you did the Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. So Mickey.
Tell me about that.
He was named after this pet mouse that I had when I was living in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Named Mickey, believe it or not.
Oh, and did you name the Mickey Mouse after your mouse named Mickey?
I did. So it's kind of like a spiritual successor, like to immortalize that animal, that disgusting creature that just shat and ate sawdust.
Where did you find your Mickey Mouse? The one that you named the Mickey Mouse off of?
That Mickey Mouse was given to me by my grandmother, Flora.
Oh yeah? Nice.
Yeah, but whenever I was whenever we were making Mickey Mouse, the big challenge that I found was that no one could do a voice that I wanted, that I thought would fit Mickey. So I tried about 50, 60, 70, 80 different actors that came in and tried to do the voice, and I said, no, damn it, sorry,
Yeah,
that's right. Little unfriendly friendly in my old age. Mickey sounds like this.
Uh-huh.
And then my my very good friend and brother, Roy Disney, suggested that I myself do the Mickey Mouse voice. So I did for a number of years. But that voice was really inspired from when Roy and I were younger, and we were riding bikes down the streets of Chicago, and Roy accidentally ran into a pole and landed with his scrotum on the bottom of the bike bars, and that's how high his voice was for a number of years. So I was doing that voice to kind of jest with my good friend and brother.
Did you ever think that he would be offended at all with you using his voice like that?
I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about me, I am a very caring and family-oriented man, but at the same time, I really need
money
to get what I need done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's his name? Yeah.
Yes. I don't know to who you're referring, but if there is hardworking and humble as me, then
Walt. I don't
Yes.
know to whom you refer.
I apologize. In my time here, I have lost a little bit of my grammar abilities.
Sorry.
Just not exercising that skill all the time.
Mm. Yeah.
Not really writing as much as I used to.
So you started the Walt Disney Company in your garage, didn't you? You in Chicago, was it? You started in your garage, and what I was surprised to find out is that it started as a car repair company, didn't it?
Yeah, so we started with the car repairs because when I was in the war, I was an ambulance driver.
Right.
So at the time, the two passions that I had were drawing crude drawings on the side of my ambulance and fixing my ambulance because of how often I would wreck it. But originally, the Disney Brothers car repair just wasn't panning out because Roy, fantastic artist, but unfortunately, he just doesn't have the mindset of a mechanic like how we intended. So we decided to go with our second path, which was animation.
Yeah. So, we all know that animation is dumb cartoons for dumb babies. You mentioned Clyde with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yes.
Yep. So anyway, what made you want to get into such a dumb, stupid, dumb, fart-faced, dumb, stupid idiot, dumb idiot, stupid idiot, dumb, stupid idiot field of idiots?
I don't think that I would call the field of animation that. But the thing that really drew me into it was really that I have no other skills.
Yeah.
It was the one thing that I was good at, aside from fixing cars, as I mentioned earlier. But I do have a strong sense of family, and I knew that anything that I wanted to do, I had to include my older brother Roy.
Mm-hmm.
So Roy and I went in together. We created the Disney name.
Yeah.
We did put in a lot of work, but I don't like to think of my animation and the things that my company has produced as art.
Mm-hmm.
It's not art.
What is
money.
What is art to you, Mr. Disney?
Art to me, Grippetier, have you ever heard the songs of Eartha Kitt?
No, I can't say I have.
Eartha Kitt. I assume you are familiar with the film The Emperor's New Groove.
Naturally, yes. That was the That was the basis for the series, The Emperor's
New School. Yes.
School, which was actually the first TV show that Daisy Ridley, who went on to play Rey in Star Wars, was a star on. She was a background character for one of the ensemble scenes, and the director liked her so much that she got to be Rey in the new Star Wars.
It's very interesting. I don't like to talk about the Star Wars. I'm very upset every time I come back to find that the company that I brought up now has space people rolling around. That's not what my image is about.
Right. But you were as you were saying about the Emperor's New Groove soundtrack.
Yes, of course. The character Yzma.
Yes.
Is actually played by Eartha Kitt.
Okay.
Eartha Kitt is an incredible singer. So just truly, if you ever get the chance to listen to a song, check out C'est Si Bon by Eartha Kitt. That is art. And again, not my animations. My animations are not art. The song C'est Si Bon by Eartha Kitt is art.
The song Stacy's Mom by Bertha Kidd is art. Right?
C'est Si Bon.
C'est Si Bon.
By Eartha Kitt.
Eartha, how do you spell it?
Earth.
E-A-R-T-H.
A.
Eartha.
Kitt. K-I-T-T.
K-I-T-T. Nice. All right. Thank you. What kind of music are you into, Walt?
I mostly like to listen to exclusively the soundtracks for the movies that my company has made. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs being one of them. I think probably that is one of my greatest achievements, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. As well as Mary Poppins would be the other big one.
That's the one with Julie Andrews in it, right? Where she helps the kids with the Nazis and stuff?
Yeah. So, the idea behind Mary Poppins.
Oh yes, please, yes.
I'd gotten so many nominations, but that wasn't enough. I had never gotten a nomination for Best Picture. I needed that.
Why
I needed to win that.
Why did you need that? You say.
Well, I do have a massive ego, and I felt that it wasn't being met. I wasn't doing enough to stroke my massive ego.
Of course.
So I needed to get that validation.
Yes.
From the Academy.
Okay.
And I did not win, unfortunately, but I did get 13 nominations, which is, I'll take that, I guess.
Yes, I think that I read in Playboy that you have the most nominations and wins of anybody ever when it comes to the Academy Awards.
This is true?
Yes. When you got your first Oscar, as a matter of fact, it was a Special Achievement Oscar, if I'm not incorrect, for the first animated full-length feature that was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And to commemorate the event, the Academy gave you one large Oscar with 7 tiny Oscars on a podium descending next to it. Those were references to the amount of people that Flint Lockwood killed in the movie with his device that makes food fall from the sky. What do you do with such a piece of Hollywood memorabilia?
Well, you see, what I did was I melted it down almost immediately. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a very big fan of trains.
Trains.
I love trains. In fact, if you go to one of my parks,
yeah,
there's a train or two around there. So I melted them down. I have a small private train in my office, and it was made entirely out of the gold from the first award that I won.
Are they made out of gold?
They were back then.
Oh, okay. That was before.
Yeah, but, I don't often. whenever I come out now, I just I help certain people get started, or give them an idea, and then I retreat back into my realm.
Give me an idea for a movie. I want to make money.
Okay, so a young man with a weak mustache, sunglasses.
That was sorry. I had something in my throat there. Apologies.
That is perfectly okay.
He has a weak mustache and he has dumb
Sunglasses.
grandma hair, probably.
Yeah, he has like almost like a mop on his head.
Yeah, disgusting manager haircut.
Yeah. So this young man, one of his close friends gets cancer, unfortunately. And I personally do have a vendetta against cancer.
Yes, I'm a Sagittarius, so I can attest.
Exactly. So this young man wants to help out his friend, so he creates like a show of some kind. Maybe he could, I don't know, interview some people and then donate donate the proceeds to a charity. I think that would be a really good message to send out to families. Help the people who have cancer with their morale. Like I said again, I don't like cancer from when I had it. So yeah, I think that would be a good place for you to start.
Yeah, I think that sounds like an interesting idea, but are you ever worried that the guy in the movie might make this series and end up interviewing a handful of outstanding individuals, and no matter how big the stars are, he never manages to stay solidly above 1,000 subscribers?
Well, I think that could be a very good challenge for him to overcome. Every movie, every piece of media does need a big challenge to overcome. So maybe in the climax of the movie, it accidentally comes out that I don't know. For example, maybe that he's anti-Semitic or something like that. And then everyone starts to go against him, yes. Even though it's complete lies started by those bastards over at Warner Brothers who just want to ruin my character. Then his close Jewish friends can come out and say, hey, I'm Jew, he's good. And then people would start subscribing to him again. I think that would be really good.
Yeah, whatever. So you talk about challenges. What are some of the biggest challenges that you, as one of the most successful figures in the entertainment industry, have had to overcome? And how did you use money and your power as an entrepreneur to do so?
Well, I would say that one of the biggest challenges that I've ever had was, again, making the theme parks that I've created. Back when I was first creating a theme park, everyone told me, Walt, that's not a good idea. No one wants to go to a theme park, because back then carnivals were not a family friendly place. And I wanted to create something that my kids could go to and have fun. That's I'm a family man. That's what I wanted. And the thing that I found was very helpful was basically I sent my errand boy, my brother Roy, to go to some of the biggest studios, the big three, and basically say, we'll let you air. We will allow you to air a show that we will make if you pay for my theme park. My name, Disney, that goes a long way. So it did work. So basically, I used my own name that I built from the ground up to strong arm my way to success.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to do the impossible.
think I broke my wrist. Christ. So it's funny you mentioned the impossible. So recently I had Obama on my show. You know, he created the country Obama, and he was talking about how when he was creating the show, he had a lot of difficulty sort of getting the Obama character into fruition. Now, one thing that I think a lot of creative people have difficulty with is coming up with characters and giving them fleshed out personalities. How do you go about making your characters individual and unique, like Obama did when he created the Obama show, starring Barack Hussein Obama, and Michelle Obama, and her 2 kids?
So what I like to do is I basically I pick a random person in the studio. And they become the basis for this character, without knowing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do is I'll install secret cameras around, and I will follow them around in a disguise. I'll put on a trench coat,
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take off my mustache. That way no one can recognize me. And then I'll carry a notepad and just record everything that they say and do.
Right.
And then they become the basis for every character that I've made. So every character that I have made is based on a real person. Most famously, Grumpy was based off of my daughter.
Mm-hmm. With the nose.
Yes.
The beard.
Exactly.
And the fact that Grumpy is uncircumcised.
Yes, my daughter is uncircumcised. So I just want to go ahead and throw something out there. Will this like a quote that I've made?
Yeah,
maybe?
Sure. Let me get like a book or something. Whatever. Here, I'll write it down. It's in here. Whatever. I'll just remember it. It's on video. People will know what you said. Whatever.
You can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality.
Walt, I think Willy Wonka...
So it's just a little free quote for you from me.
I think Willy
Walt.
Wonka said that in the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, again, my way of making characters isn't just used by me. I do know that it has been used by others. So the character of Willy Wonka was based on myself.
That's him. That's Willy Wonka. That's him.
Is that one of those Funker Pops that I've been hearing so much about?
These are actually little figurines I use to get cocaine over the border. You can just pop the heads off, put the Colombian cocaine inside, and then send it over the border. And that's why I have so many. Because I send cocaine over the border. There's a quote for you. There's your quote. The Gruppeteer sends cocaine over the border.
That does seem to me a little illegal. And they will be contacting the authorities.
Shut up.
After this.
Shut up. I want more answers. I want more answers about stupid questions. Tell me about Donald Duck.
So Donald Duck was actually not based off of anyone. It was just, I thought, what is the dumbest animal? The answer, of course,
The Chihuahua.
is the wildebeest.
The wildebeest. Second.
But it's very hard to animate a wildebeest. Like, how do you do the voice for a wildebeest? So I settled on Donald Duck instead. And I intentionally didn't give him pants because I really wanted to create like a subcategory of individuals who like to maybe like dress up like animals.
Yes.
And sexualize them.
Yes. I heard that you also based the character off of Harvey Weinstein, so no pants.
Yeah, he is one of my greatest mistakes.
Harvey Weinstein?
Yes.
I don't understand. Are you saying that Harvey Weinstein is a Disney character?
No, I did meet with him once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
I left my realm.
Yes.
And I occasionally, I'll leave and I'll convene with those who summon my soul.
Right.
To give them advice on how to get started. And Harvey Weinstein, unfortunately, was one of them.
Mm.
Some of the other individuals that I've done this with, the artist formerly known as Prince. Where do you think he got the idea to change his name to an unpronounceable symbol? From me.
I think
Walt,
Weird Al told him to do
alias
that.
Disney. Another one. Have you ever heard of the game Minecraft?
Is that the one with Master Chief?
No, Minecraft is the block one.
The Lego
Notch.
game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lego.
He got that idea from me. There's different animals
Mm-hmm.
in his game, and there's skeletons and things like that. But those also exist in my work.
Oh yeah,
so it's
you're
pretty
right.
clear where you can see that where he got those ideas.
Because the Book of Life, directed by one of our former guests, Jorge Gutierrez, is a Disney movie. It was created by Disney. Jorge Gutierrez he told us on the show, he was put in a large Tupperware and told to draw pictures of skeletons. And I'd never made the connection before that the skeletons in the Book of Life were probably the basis for the inspiration for the Minecraft ones.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I've also met with Mike Lazo.
Yeah. The head, for those who don't know, he is the head of Sprout Network.
Yes. We'll see at the time that he met me, I did, I don't discriminate.
Yes.
Okay. So no matter who summons me, I'll look at their status, their social status that I assign to everyone, much like how I did at the Disney company when I was in the living world. And
What?
Sorry?
What was the part about the living world?
So, I just assign these values to individuals just to kind of rank them. And Michael Lazo was pretty far up there. He was creating his own his own television channel, and I thought, he could use some help. So whenever he approached me, he summoned me, my soul, from beyond, and I was giving him ideas, and so I thought, here's a really good one. You don't have really any money to make anything new, so just reuse old stuff. That was one of the things that I was very well known for, reusing old footage over and over and over again, to make it more simple, but also to cut costs. So I convinced him to create the late night talk show, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, for the Cartoon Network.
Yeah? How'd that go?
Really well. It did run for 11 seasons.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, so it's probably dumb.
That's fair.
That is fair. So, one thing that I'm always very impressed by, and I know we've talked about how difficult it was to build the Disney theme parks, but one thing that I'm always very impressed by is that no matter your age, it always seems like everybody wants to go to a Disney park. Everybody's always entranced by the idea of getting the fancy little hats, or getting to take a picture with Mickey Mouse, or Darth Vader, or the Rocketeer, or other memorable Disney characters like the Dragon from Pete's Dragon, and Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. People like George Sanderson from Monsters, Inc., all crowd favorites. And I was wondering, the idea for walk-around animatronic and live-action costumed people, now that's something that over the years the Disney company has perfected. The opening day pictures it opened in the 1840s, so the opening pictures from then have these strange-looking people in sort of drab costumes. But over the years, they've become a lot more advanced. Character acting is sort of an art, more or less. And there are even people who are in line for years and years and years to be princesses, from Ariel to Captain Marvel to Thumbelina. Now, where did the idea come from to have these cartoon characters truly pop off the screen and walk around the parks?
Well, it all started in 1946.
Mm-hmm.
I decided it would be very interesting to try to create a hybrid movie where animated characters
Mm-hmm.
would be in the real world and they could interact with real people.
Yes, like Cool World, of course.
I apologize. I did not catch that.
Yes, like the film Cool World.
I'm unfamiliar with that, but the movie that I'm referring to is Song of the South.
Oh, yes, of course, the racist one.
Yes, some people would call it that. I would call them wrong.
Oh, yes, of course.
So the idea came from, if I can make that in a movie, I should be able to make that in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really where the idea to make these characters come to life came from. Unfortunately, no one really approved my Uncle Remus character to come into the Disney parks.
Did he have to wait outside?
At the time, he was not allowed in the park at the same time.
Yikes!
As some of the other individuals. I don't really want to get into the whole thing why.
I have to also issue a correction. I said that the Disney parks opened in the 1840s. I did not mean the 1840s. I meant the 1960s. I was thinking of the presidency of Franklin Pierce. I get the presidency of Franklin Pierce and the opening of the Disney parks confused very often, as I'm sure can be explained by science. So,
there's a P in Pierce and a P in Park. So,
where's the P in Park?
At the beginning.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Right? Yeah. What else is going on in your life, Walt? I mean, whatever. Just talk to me. I don't care. Nothing matters.
Well, you see, I was recently summoned by this incredible mind.
Me?
Man goes by the name of Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. That's obviously Jim Campbell's son. Jim Campbell, I'm sure you know from the aforementioned film The Rocketeer. Yes, continue.
Yeah, so Bruce Campbell, what he really needed, he had a brilliant idea. A show called this is what came from it. It was a show called The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a combination of many things, very cowboy. As many of you know, I love trains and I love cowboys. Hence the reason that I made at the very beginning so many cowboy-related things.
Yes.
Especially on the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yes.
Television show.
If I do recall, one of your first live-action features was Brokeback Mountain, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I'm sorry?
What?
I thought you said something.
No. Whatever. Tell me about Goofy. Goofy, for those who don't know, is a cartoon character. Tell me about him.
Yeah, so Goofy, I really wanted to put the idea of one human owning another into my cartoons. So I had to have two characters that were very similar to each other, but one had to own the other. So I decided on a character with like a southern drawl, to kind of emulate the feeling from the old days.
Yeah.
When that was allowed, because I wanted to show how terrible it is, and kind of poke fun at it a little bit. So that's what I created, Goofy.
Right.
The tall anthropomorphic dog with a southern drawl, who typically wears a turtleneck and vest with pants, shoes, white gloves, and a tall hat, originally designed as a rumpled fedora.
Of course.
And I designed him to be a close friend of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, and one of my most recognizable characters.
That's a very precise description.
Yeah, I had it prepared.
Smart.
So then, obviously, I had to create a character for him to own, and that was Pluto.
But doesn't Pluto belong to the Mickey Mouse?
See, that's how it became. Again, during the conception of this character.
Right.
That's not how it was.
Ah, I forgot that.
But yeah, so when oftentimes we kind of called him George Geef, just as a funny name for him. Recently, actually, I did convince Bill Farmer, the voice actor of the infamous dog, to do a cover of a song. Have you heard the song "Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Die" by Eiffel 65?
Yeah, that's the song that they used in the Smurf movie, which you also directed.
I did not direct that. I don't watch trash. But anyway, yeah, I got, I pulled out all the stops, and I got Bill Farmer to do a cover of Eiffel 65's "I'm Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Die" in the Goofy voice. And I do think that is one of my best
moments. Yes.
My best creations since my passing.
What?
Next question.
Wait, no. What do you mean? Passing?
Yeah. From when I passed away of lung cancer.
When was that?
December 15th, 1966. I'd been a heavy smoker since World War I, and I didn't use cigarettes with filters, but I smoked a pipe as a young man. And I was diagnosed with lung cancer, and it was kind of all downhill from there.
Huh. How are we talking right now?
You summoned me from the beyond, from the great beyond, from my realm.
Oh, no, my secretary must have done that. Anyway, alright, so we're back to Pluto, right? So we're talking about Pluto. So Pluto was originally the basis for the planet, or the recently reclassified planet of Pluto. And when you heard that NASA was going to name the planet after the dog that you created, were you upset that they didn't pick a Goofy?
No. You see, I felt that Pluto was the one who deserved to be, who deserved that name more than Goofy. Goofy is the in my mind, the slave master. And I don't think he should get anything named after him.
Okay.
Pluto, on the other hand, is a loyal, loving pup.
Slave.
Who, yeah, you can call it what you want.
But he's a slave. You just said he's a.
He was conceived as one.
Oh, of course. Yes, I was conceived as a girl.
That explains your haircut.
Moving on.
But yeah, so I was totally on board with them naming it after my dog, which I thought was a very strange diversion because previously all of the planets were named after the gods of Rome.
Like sun?
Well, not like, like Mercury, Venus,
yeah,
Jupiter.
Uranus, meteor belt.
Yeah. But at the same time, I also borrowed from those in my hit movie, Hercules.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That had Daniel DeVito in it?
It did.
What a flick.
It was an absolute joy to work with most of the time, although I cannot say the same for the most recent endeavor that my company has been putting out, an absolute bastardization of many of my classic movies.
Mr. Disney, if I may, if you dislike the film so much, seeing as it is your namesake in the company, why don't you tell them to stop?
Well, many of the individuals at Disney, they know that if I were to come out of my realm to speak to them, what I would say to them. They know that they're doing my company wrong in many ways. Like I said about the Star Wars thing, about the making live action movies thing, using my creations. So President Bob Iger of my company right now has actually banned summoning me to my own studio.
Really?
Yes. I am allowed in the parks. That was one of the stipulations. The parks really are my baby.
Yeah.
That's what I spent a lot of time. My last day on Earth, I spent laying in that hospital bed, talking to Roy, telling him about Disney World and how it was going to look.
Right. So, if you're not allowed to be summoned in the building itself, but you are allowed to be summoned in the theme parks.
Yes.
Why don't you try to lure Mr. Iger to the theme park?
I have on many, many occasions, such as when I was meeting with Marcus Persson.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, hey, in a couple years, maybe you can get to a high place. You can make a little bit of money, and then you can talk to whoever's the president at Disney then. And then maybe we can, you can get them to the park and summon me and lock us in a room together.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we can hash something out. Maybe I can possess his body or her body. I'm not sexism, so I'm not gonna assume.
You're not sexism.
No.
All right.
I'm Walter Elias Disney.
Oh, of course.
Born December 5th.
Yes.
1901.
Where?
I apologize. In Chicago, Illinois, United States.
Oh, okay. There's another one I knew.
But so yeah, Bob Iger and I we don't see eye to eye. Mostly because he will not allow me to come into my own creation that bears my name.
That sucks.
It's not the best. It's really difficult when you put a lot of time into a place, and then the people above you just kick you out.
Yes, my landlord did that to me.
It looks like you live with your mom?
No. My mother lives with me.
Okay. I believe you.
There must be a question to talk about that isn't whatever we're talking about right now. So you've talked a lot about how much you enjoy Pokemon. And Pokemon is one of the few properties that is not owned by the Walt Disney Corporation. I would love to know where this sort of love for the Japanese game has come from, and what it's meant to you to see, fans embrace Pokemon over the years.
Well, it is also Pokemon as Pocket Monsters in Japan. It's a media franchise managed by the Pokemon Company, and it's a Japanese consortium between Nintendo, Game Freak, and Creatures Inc. But it's really a very creative, incredible little thing. I really like looking at the little guys. The Pikachu is really so cute. But it's also foreign, and it's Japanese. So if you do remember, I did suffer greatly from the war effort.
Yes.
A lot of the films that I created were anti-Japanese propaganda.
Of course.
So while I can appreciate their art, I cannot appreciate the people themselves.
Are you racist against the Japanese, Mr. Disney?
I don't really like to put labels on anything.
Okay, but if you were to?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I'm just going to read a few quotes, that I've dug up. I know that you're a very well-spoken man, and I'd just like to ask you to expand upon a few of the quotes. They're right here. Let me just get them in this journal here. So, you recently did an interview with Wired magazine, where you were talking about your distaste for the aforementioned Dumbo movie. In it, you said, quote, "If we were to get rid of," this is referring to elephants, that is, "if we were to get rid of all of them, we wouldn't have to worry about those stupid things being dumb and stupid." What does that even mean? What does that mean?
Well, you see, it being dumb and stupid.
Right.
Obviously I named the elephant character Dumbo because of my distaste for them.
Ah.
So I thought, maybe if we get rid of them, if we finally, get them with the ivory trade, then we just don't have to worry about those massive creatures and their threat to human society.
Another one, same interview, talking about Dumbo. The interviewer asked about the Israeli-Palestine conflict, which has, as you know, been raging for years and years now. About it, you said, maybe if they could work out getting sand out of their eyes, then it'd be a lot easier for them to see eye to eye. What are you implying there? Are you making a derogatory remark by the fact that they live in a desert?
It's more of a jest. They do have, desert type areas. It's just really a jest about them. They really can't see eye to eye. So, what I really mean is, maybe if everyone just calmed down and thought and reflected a little bit, maybe they could see each other as equals, and maybe they can try to work something out a little bit better. Because the Indian and Palestine conflict is very detrimental to both countries.
Nobody knows where I was on the day JFK was shot. Why would you imply that? Why would you say that?
Well, because, there are many rumors about what happened to me after my death. Some say, officially, I was cremated and spread around my parks. Unofficially, I was frozen. My head was cut off, and my head was frozen in a jar. My body is frozen next to it, which I don't like that they did that, but they thought it would be easier to revive me as just a head whenever that technology came around, and then reattach my head to my body. So I am, it's like a double-edged sword kind of thing. So there's two sides. So no one, like it's saying, no one knows where I am. Do you believe that I'm in pieces under Disneyland, or do you believe that my ashes have been spread to the winds?
What should I do with all the Beanie Babies in my room?
Throw them away.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I think a lot about Epcot. You know, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which was an unfinished concept. You know, I want it to be a real city that would never cease to be the blueprint of the future. It was designed to stimulate American ideas for urban living, but unfortunately that never finished. And I do believe that that is my biggest regret, the thing that I think about the most.
What else do you think about? You think of like girls and stuff?
I've been thinking a lot about Bubsy recently,
The
the animatronic from my park.
Bubsy? Like the orange cat mascot from the 90s?
I'm sorry?
I'm afraid I'm not terribly familiar with the Bubsy character. Who is it?
You know, the orange mascot from the 90s.
Oh. From the 90s.
Yes, when I was around.
What do you think this does?
I think you know what it does. I think you just wanted to cause a distraction to me.
I just wanted to see what it did.
So anyway, Buzzy, like I was saying, he's a young man. He has big glasses. He has a green hat, red coat. He's an animatronic in one of my parks. And the thing that happened with Buzzy is he was kidnapped. Buzzy went missing from Epcot, and we know who did it because this fool took him apart and sold pieces of him online. We had this individual who kept coming in, going into Epcot, jumping over some of the walls to separate the storage areas from the rest of the park, and he would just go in and he would steal things. And security had been on his case for years, and we finally got him because we knew that Buzzy went missing. So when we found him, we got him. He was arrested, and he cried and vomited in the interrogation room and admitted to everything that he had done. So that was, that's another thing that I think about. I think about the victory, but also I don't know where Buzzy is, and all my power that I have as a spirit, I can't really go to find a specific animatronic. I have to have whoever has Buzzy has to summon me, and then I can see my boy.
That's really interesting, Walt. That's awesome to hear about. You always talk about Epcot like it's this dream world, and I'm terribly interested to know how the idea itself came to you. This idea of blending cultures and having this world where people can really explore parts of the world that they wouldn't be used to otherwise is outstandingly smart, and I just love to know how the idea popped into your head. Please.
Well, I'd had this idea for a long time. I was worried about my grandchildren and what kind of world that they would have. And I thought, modern cities they're just no good. They're crime ridden. They're dirty. They're not as clean and controlled as my Disneyland. So I decided I was going to create a city for my grandchildren where they could go and rule as tyrants, much like how I do, or did, before my passing in the Disney parks.
Go on.
That was it. That's where the idea came from.
Okay. That's epic. Well, Walt, I hate to say it, but that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for coming on Cartoons vs. Cancer. It was a pleasure to have you. Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we sign off?
Yes. I would like to say, don't go see the live-action garbage that they're making. What you should be seeing right now. Have you ever heard of this YouTube channel called Cartoon vs. Cancer? check it out.
My
Watch
goodness,
Cartoon
Walt.
versus Cancer on YouTube.
My goodness, Walt.
See, I'm doing a little goof because obviously they're watching it right now.
That's terribly kind of you,
And
nonetheless.
it's yours. Grumpetier, thank you for having me. We got off to a little bit of a rocky start.
Oh,
But,
please. It's nothing. It's nothing to worry about. Mr. with Disney, it was an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. And for everybody watching at home, I hope you enjoyed today's very special episode of Cartoons vs. Cancer. Walt, before you sign off, is there anything in the future that we might be looking forward to?
Well, when you're curious, you find lots of interesting things to do. And the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing.
Wow. That truly is wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Cartoons vs. Cancer. I'm the Grumpetier, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye!